I'm Mayu Kasugai. I live with my husband Ryo, and we both work full-time. But lately, I've been troubled by the way my husband and his family are treating me. I finished cooking. On our monthly visits to his parents' house, I've started to be ignored by them and Ryo. It wasn't like this before. They used to greet me with smiles when we arrived, and they were happy and thankful when I cooked. I've thought about whether I did something to upset them, but I can't think of anything. When I asked Ryo, "Hey, did I do something wrong to your mom and dad?"
Huh? Figure it out yourself.
He snapped back, looking annoyed, and I couldn't ask anything more. Without knowing the reason, I can't do anything about it. Feeling gloomy, I packed for today's visit to them. It's really hot. It's August, and the sun's strong enough to burn the skin during the summer festival season. I wiped the sweat off my forehead after getting out of the car and tried to talk to Ryo, but... You're not even going to carry the luggage? Ryo ignored me and walked quickly into the house by himself. His parents came out to greet us, so I hurried after Ryo to greet them.
Dad, Mom, we're back!
Oh, welcome back. It was hot, wasn't it? I've got some iced tea ready.
You're staying over, right? Mom's been preparing the bedding.
They warmly welcomed Ryo. Feeling very out of place, I still bowed my head to greet them. It's been a while. Thank you for having us today.
Come on, let's have a family gathering. You go cook.
Without exchanging a word with them, I was shooed off to the kitchen. I've cooked here so many times that I know my way around. But before their attitudes changed, his mother used to help me. Now I'm all alone. Thinking it might be my fault, I started to tear up while cooking. I can't take it anymore, not knowing the reason and just putting up with it. It might be rude, but I'm going to ask them directly this time. I decided it was better than being stuck in confusion, so I left the kitchen to go to the living room where they were. I could hear their voices from the hallway. And when I stopped in front of the living room door to find the right moment to talk, I was shocked by what I heard.
Mayu has always been a spendthrift, and it's been a real problem for me.
What? Peeking through the door, I saw Ryo bad-mouthing me, with a troubled expression and his parents nodding in agreement.
I've been putting up with it for a long time, but she spent so much that we couldn't save any money, so I finally told her off. Then she snapped back, saying she'd just earn her own money, and started some shady job. Recently, she's been getting more and more brazen, dressing flashily and going out at night.
What is this? Ryo continued to lie and badmouth me, laughing smugly. Watching him enjoy lying about me, I felt strangely calm. I can't just let this go. Quietly, I took out my phone and started recording, capturing the three of them. Ryo was showing his parents some photos on his phone. The photos were of me in college enjoying fashion. Disgusting! Hiding that attitude and getting married, how deceitful, she tricked us.
Women should stay home and support their husbands. I had a feeling something was off when she started working, and now I see it's because of this. That's right. So please keep helping me out, Dad and Mom. She's my wife. If we show her we're angry, she'll eventually apologize. I managed to correct her once before. She'll understand again.
Ryo, of course, will help. She needs to reflect on deceiving us and troubling you.
Women need to understand their place under men and serve them properly.
Watching the three of them nodding in agreement, my heart turned cold. I can't believe they were talking about me like this. I've changed and endured so much to fit in with their customs and Ryo's family. Me working was that unacceptable to them. Listening to their conversation, I understood the reason. I realized something was off when I first discussed wanting to work with Ryo.
You want to work? Why? You've been living fine so far.
Sure, we can get by, but we can't really save money. If I go back to my old job, it'll be less of a burden.
What? Are you saying my income isn't enough?
No, that's not it. But we need to think about having kids, too. Your mom and dad always say they want to see their grandchildren.
Huh.
I convinced myself that he was just stressed from work then, but that wasn't true. To them, a woman working is unacceptable. I can't stay with people like this. Their bad-mouthing got worse, and it was unbearable to listen to. I quietly stopped recording and walked to the entrance, put on my shoes, and left. After several minutes, I returned to the house. From a distance, I could see several people standing in front of the house. As I walked closer, Ryo noticed me and walked over, his face red with anger.
You! Where have you been? Where have you been? Preparing the food is your job, isn't it? Who do you think you are, keeping our relatives waiting?
Ryo's voice was loud and furious, but I responded coldly, almost like a stranger. That's what I should be asking you. Ryo's eyes widened in surprise, clearly not expecting that response. The relatives around us were also staring at the two of us in shock. Without giving anyone a chance to intervene, I thrust the divorce papers I had in my hand towards Ryo. I can't deal with you anymore. I want a divorce. The room fell into a stunned silence. It was his mother who broke the silence, her voice shaking.
What do you mean by this? How can you repay all we've done for you with this betrayal?
I knew you were getting too full of yourself lately, but I never thought it would come to this. Do you think you could scare us with divorce? You better take it back right now! Or, wait! You've been dressing up lately. Have you been cheating on me? Is that it? If you want to leave now, I'll make you pay alimony.
Watching Ryo shouting, I felt a deep sense of disappointment. Speaking in a calm voice so all the relatives could hear, I responded. My change in clothing was because I got a job. I work as a nail artist, so I need to look good to match the shop's atmosphere. I kept it simple because I heard your mother didn't like flashy outfits, but if you think that's deceitful, I can't help you. As for the cheating accusations, they're completely false. Most of my clients are women, and I always came home right after work because he insisted I not change our dinner time. When could I have possibly had the time to cheat? Then his father spoke up.
Women should stay at home and serve their husbands. It's wrong to work in the first place.
Sighing, I replied, the reason I started working is because his income isn't enough to save money. We talked about wanting kids, but without savings, that would be difficult. You have always asked about having grandchildren, and I tried my best to make it work. But enough is enough. I'm clearly not suitable to be your wife. So please, go ahead and find someone else. Someone who will obediently do whatever you say. I hope you can find such a woman. After saying everything I wanted to say, I pulled out my phone and played the recording I had made earlier at full volume. Ryo, realizing he had been recorded, looked shocked and panicked.
Wait, that's not...
Ryo's voice was cut off by his enraged parents.
We took care of you, and this is how you act?
Some people never change, we can't help it. Let's divorce her and find a good wife for you, Ryo.
We've been deceived. She owes us for all the care we gave her. She'll pay alimony.
I could see the relatives looking at them in disbelief. As his parents lunged at me, I closed my eyes, bracing for impact, when a man jumped in between us.
Are you serious? Dad? Mom?
The one who stepped in to protect me was his brother. He usually lived far away with his wife, and we only saw him during long holidays like summer vacation. But whenever we did meet, he was always supportive and helpful.
I never got along with Dad and Mom, so I appreciate you tried to get along with him. My brother has always been spoiled. If anything bothers you, let me know right away. I'll set them straight.
Only now do I fully understand the meaning of his words back then. His strong sense of justice made it impossible for him to get along with his parents and Ryo, who looked down on women. As he and his parents were about to get into a physical fight, the relatives desperately tried to stop them. Ryo, staggering, approached me and started talking.
Divorce? I didn't mean for it to go this far. You're kidding, right?
I glared at Ryo. Taking advantage of his hesitation, I raised my voice to the relatives. I'm sorry for causing a scene at this family gathering. I'm not fit to be here. I'm leaving. The relatives looked troubled, but no one tried to stop me. Panicking at the thought of me leaving, Ryo, trembling, clung to me.
Wait, if you're leaving, I'll come with you.
No thanks. The divorce papers are signed, so please fill out your part and submit them.
Wait! There's only one car! What am I supposed to do if you leave?
Seeing Ryo on his knees, almost crying and covered in dirt, I felt no love or affection for him anymore. I shook off his hand and spoke coldly. Please enjoy your time with your family. I am not considered part of it. Bye. Without waiting for a response, I got into the car, turned the key, and drove off. I headed to my home, not the house I shared with Ryo, but my parents' house, a bit farther away. I was worried about whether they would accept me on such short notice, but my parents welcomed me warmly. My father hugged me with tears in his eyes, and my mother started preparing my favorite dishes. Thanks to them, I felt the warmth of family for the first time in a while. A few months after the incident, Ryo hesitated to submit the divorce papers. But with my firm stance and the help of a lawyer, the divorce was finalized. After that chaos, his parents were looked down upon by the relatives and became distanced from them, as his brother informed me over the phone. I'm really sorry for what happened that day. I caused trouble for everyone at the gathering.
It's not your fault, Mayu. I apologize for my family's behavior.
We accepted each other's apologies, and I maintained a good friendship with his brother. Ryo, apparently due to the emotional shock, made many mistakes at work and was demoted.
He kept calling me, crying, but it's his own fault. I yelled at him and blocked his number.
He used to complain a lot about not getting promoted. He must have had a bad work attitude too. Ryo lost his wife and his parents lost their future support for old age. With their connection severed, the three of them will likely live a lonely life from now on. Well, it's not my concern anymore. After finishing my call with his brother, I returned to work at the nail salon as my lunch break ended. Now that the toxic ties were cut, I can focus on making my clients happy with my work, leading a fulfilling life.